Everyone talks about compound interest, but almost nobody talks about the number where everything changes. Before this point, building wealth feels painfully slow. After it, your money starts making more money than you can save. Today, I'll show you the exact tipping point, the real math behind it, why reaching this one number changes everything, and how ordinary investors, not millionaires, can get there faster than they think. And here's the surprising part. The magic isn't about time alone. It's about reaching a portfolio size where your investment returns begin to overwhelm your monthly contributions. Once that happens, wealth starts growing almost on autopilot. Let's dive in. Why compounding feels like a scam? Have you ever invested for a few years, checked your account, and thought, that's it? You invest $500 every month. After 1 year, you've invested $6,000. Maybe your account is worth around $6,500. You worked hard, saved consistently, yet the growth feels tiny. This is where most people quit. Not because compound interest doesn't work, but because they're still in what I call the contribution phase. During this stage, almost all of your portfolio growth comes from money you put in. Your investments aren't doing much of the heavy lifting yet. Imagine pushing a car. The first few feet require enormous effort. But once the car gains momentum, keeping it moving becomes dramatically easier. Money behaves the exact same way. The early years are slow, painfully slow, but they're building momentum you can't yet see. 2. The real formula behind compounding. Let's simplify what compound interest really is. Every year, your investments earn returns. The next year, you earn returns on those returns, then returns on those returns, and the cycle repeats. Mathematically, your future wealth grows exponentially, not linearly. If your portfolio earns an average of 10% annually, every $100 becomes $110, then $121, then $133, then $146. The gains themselves start producing gains. Albert Einstein may or may not have called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, but whether he said it or not, the math speaks for itself. Here's what most people miss. Compounding doesn't suddenly become magical because of time. It becomes magical because your portfolio eventually becomes large enough that annual growth becomes significant. Time simply gives your portfolio the chance to reach that size. So, what is the number? There isn't one universal number. Instead, it's different for everyone. Here's the simple equation. Your portfolio reaches escape velocity when annual investment gains become larger than your annual contributions. Let's use an example. Suppose you invest $1,000 every month. That's $12,000 per year. If your portfolio earns 10% annually, when will your investments earn $12,000 by themselves? Simple. 10% of $120,000 equals $12,000. That means at around $120,000 invested, your money is now producing as much wealth each year as your savings. Think about that. You still invest $12,000, but now your investments also generate another $12,000. Suddenly, you're adding about $24,000 per year. Half comes from you, half comes from your money. This is the tipping point. And every year after that, your investments contribute more and more. Eventually, you're no longer the biggest contributor. Your portfolio is. That's when compounding begins to feel explosive. 4. Why $500,000 feels completely different. Let's continue the journey. At $500,000, a 10% annual return equals roughly $50,000. Think about that. Many Americans earn around that amount from a full-time job. Your investments could potentially generate an entire salary in one good market year. At $1 million, a 10% return equals approximately $100,000. Again, markets never move in straight lines. Some years will be negative, some years much higher. But over long periods, the principle remains. Your money begins producing wealth faster than you can personally save it. That's why wealthy people often seem to get richer much faster. They're not necessarily working harder, they're simply operating with much larger financial engines. 5. The biggest mistake people make. Here's the tragedy. Most investors quit right before things get interesting. Imagine planting a tree. For years, it barely grows above the ground. Meanwhile, its roots are spreading everywhere beneath the surface. If you dig it up because you think nothing is happening, you'll never see what it could become. Investing works the same way. The slow beginning isn't evidence that compounding has failed. It's evidence that compounding is still building its foundation. Every dollar invested today will likely become one of your hardest working dollars decades from now. Consistency beats intensity. Always. 6. How to reach the tipping point faster. So, how do you accelerate compounding? There are 4 powerful levers. First, increase your savings rate. The more you invest, the faster you reach escape velocity. Second, start earlier. Time remains your greatest advantage. Third, stay invested. Missing the market's strongest years can dramatically reduce long-term returns. And finally, reinvest everything. Dividends, capital gains, interest. Let every dollar continue working. The goal isn't becoming rich overnight. It's reaching the point where your money begins doing most of the work. The biggest lesson isn't that compound interest is powerful. Everyone already knows that. The lesson is understanding when it becomes powerful. Before the tipping point, you're building the engine. After the tipping point, the engine starts pulling you forward. That's why the first $100,000 often feels harder than the next $100,000. Not because investing suddenly changes, but because compounding finally takes over. So don't judge your progress by today's returns. Judge it by whether you're consistently moving toward your own compounding tipping point. Because one day, you'll open your investment account and realize something incredible. You didn't become wealthy overnight. You simply stayed invested long enough for the math to finally work in your favor. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more evidence-based personal finance content, and let me know in the comments, what milestone are you working toward right now? Your first $10,000, $100,000, or beyond? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.